Coach, what are your thoughts on Greg Byrne taking the job at Alabama?
You know, first of all, happy for Greg and his family. You know, there's really two levels to him leaving. You know, number one, I'd have a hard time believing that an athletic director anywhere did a better job for a university than he did for us here at Arizona. In the 7 years that he was here, a lot of great things happened. And in terms of his overall support, relationship, direction of the men's basketball program, which I'm in charge of, I couldn't imagine a better relationship or better leadership. And on a personal level, you know, a friend's leaving, you know, a friend's moving from Tucson, and his wife and Greg are great friends with my wife and myself. That usually doesn't happen in a relationship between an athletic director and a coach. But in this case, it did happen. And, you know, we didn't really know each other when Greg came from Mississippi State. And, you know, obviously it's kind of an empty feeling with him leaving, only because of how meaningful he was to our program, our university, and then the friendship in addition to that. But I know that he'll go on and do great things at Alabama. They're lucky to have him. And I know that we'll move on in a positive direction, and most important, get somebody here as our new athletic director who approaches things in a similar way and does a great job in their own right. So anxious to see that happen.
You've been around a lot of ADs. What qualities do you admire in an athletic director?
Well, I'll just speak about Greg. You know, number one is honesty. You know, he's somebody that's incredibly candid and honest with a coach, and very transparent. He's an incredible communicator. You know, somebody that doesn't let a lot of time go by. He has a great pulse and feel for the goings-on in your program. It's not always smooth. There are crisis moments. There's tough moments in an athletic program of this stature, and he never wavers. He problem solves. He's with you, and he loves to win. You know, I think that all of us benefited tremendously by his overall passion to improve, whether it be facilities, whether to give us the biggest advantage we could have in any recruiting situation. And he did it as really part of his every day. He woke up every day and with tremendous passion and energy to make Arizona the best place it could possibly be. And his energy and his effort are unmatched, you know. So I think that, you know, in an athletic director, it's almost like hiring a coach today. I mean, you have to burn the candle at both ends, fundraising and, you know, being comprehensive, and it's a difficult job for sure, and it's certainly, to get a great person in that position, it's amazing what it does for everybody.
When you look back, people went after you. Everybody talks about the Maryland possibility back in '11. I mean, looking back on that, you knew Greg a little bit at that point. How key was he, if at all, into keeping you here?
I mean, he was a part of it. I mean, that seems like 20 years ago now, you know, so long ago. But, you know, every coach, you know, you have a sense of comfort. And Dr. Hart's a big sense of that comfort as well. And, you know, the time here at Arizona is unique in that she'll be leaving us as well. And she's been incredibly supportive of our basketball program, of athletics in general, things that, again, that are behind the scenes on a daily basis. And she's always been there in a very, very positive light, and I respect her. And so with her leaving and also Greg leaving, obviously there's going to be two new people that are going to have a real impact on the direction of the future of Arizona athletics. And you know, I'm excited to see it. And we have tremendous people making those decisions, and I think that, like we did when Jim Livengood left and Greg became the next athletic director. Dr. Hart followed Robert Shelton. You know, I think it's obviously it's a critical time, but I'm confident we'll get two really good people.
Was there ever a time or an example maybe where you saw something lacking in what you could do, or you know, that you wanted for the program, where you went to Greg and it worked?
Well, I think just his ability to change McHale. you know, at a very critical time. And when you walk into McHale right now, I think you guys have even a better perspective than I do. It looks like a brand new arena, and it shines, and the impact is for everybody. Television, the impact is for our fan base, and the impact's for our team, the guys that play here. And from a recruiting perspective, that is a big deal on why young people choose the place that they go to school. And just in terms of the need of being able to, you know, Tucson isn't blessed with a great location in some ways because we're not easy to get to. In some places that you really need to get to, you can't get to very easily. But providing the ability in the recruiting aspect to be able to get to those places and back. There's never been anything that was ever compromised with winning as the end result. If it impacted our ability to be better, then he was going to find a way to get that done for our program.
Is there any status update on Walls True?
No.
Have you had have you had much dealing with Erica as far as, you know,
Yeah.
I know you'll be in the interim at least working with her. What's your impressions?
Yeah, I'm confident in the plan that we have moving forward. Erica's very capable. You know, Mike Ketchum is somebody who's very close to our program and works with us on a daily basis, and you know, he's a great sense of comfort in that he's with us every day, and then that's still in place. And I'm sure the process will be moving fast to find who's eventually going to become the director of athletics.
How much of a say in it do you have?
I mean, I'm the basketball coach. You know, I'm getting ready for USC and UCLA. That's number one, and you know that's my job. If asked, certainly, you know, I would love to have a sense or feel for who they are, and I'm confident that will happen.
With winning 10 games in a row, how do you feel about your team heading into Los Angeles?
Well, LA is a difficult trip. It always has been for Arizona, and the reason is that the two teams that are in LA are both very good. Not just one team, but two. And USC had a great win at Colorado last night. Their non-conference resume was that they were undefeated. They have a very talented group. Andy Enfield, you know, continues to do a great job. When you get ready to play them, you know, they have players they have depth, and right now they're playing without one of their best players, Benny Boatwright. So I'm not sure if Benny will play against us, but either way, they're very good. And you know, I think the priority for us is to make sure that we come off of the ASU game. We have a break here. We have an opportunity to really be healthy and locked in. And then on Thursday night against USC, we have to be at our best. Our turnovers are something that I think we have to be well aware of. We're turning the ball over a little too much in conference play. That leads to bad things on the road. Our defense has been the cornerstone towards that 10-game winning streak. Second half against ASU, we did not play great defense. They had 50 points. First half, they had 25 points. That's important that we don't lose our edge on defense, especially on the road. And then offensively, just continuing to improve and get better, which we've done. We're a better offensive team, a more confident offensive team now than we would have been a month ago, and we have to continue that development.
You've been here 8 years now, and it seems like every weekend is always escalated into the next big weekend. How big is this weekend compared to some of the other ones you've always gone through?
You know, I answered that like with ASU in basketball, because you play so many games and you play everybody 2 times, sometimes 3 times. It's really difficult to make one moment too big. You know, our guys understand, you know, UCLA is a program that has always been there. This year they have a chance to win the national championship. They're competing for a 1 seed. USC is an NCAA tournament team. Going to Los Angeles in and of itself is a big moment for I think every program in the Pac-12, especially if you have some guys from LA, which we do. So that's already in place. Our players know that. So for us, it's about making sure that we, like we were when we went to Cal and Stanford, coming off of Christmas break, that we're ready to go. We were ready on that road trip. Whether we were going to win or lose, no one was going to question our effort, and that we really battled in both games. And that's what we want to do this week.
What did you see of USC last night?
You know, we're watching it this morning. You know, they Chimezi Metu in particular took over. Him having 20 points in one half, that's all you have to say. On the road, you know, a lot of times you keep your team in the game, and they weathered Colorado's lead in the first half because of him. And but they're a poised team. They have some players now who've been in the NCAA tournament that are in their third year, and they've had big roles in their first 2 years. I love Jordan McLaughlin's game as a point guard. He probably has as much meaning to his team as anyone we've faced. He makes great decisions. He can score. When he's going well, it just seems like their team's going well. Elijah Stewart, again, he's in his third year as well. He hurt us badly last year, especially at SC. We know he's very talented. And they have one of the best freshmen in the conference, Melton. So I think talent-wise, players, they have a number of them, and they're doing a good job coaching their team. You know, you add Benny Boatwright to the group that they have, they're even better.
You talk about guys being from there over the years. You've been back a ton there, but have you picked up any strategy on how to deal with that, or has it become, does it ever get distracting, or does it depend on the player?
It depends on the players. In the East, this is the same as going to New York City. When you go to New York City, if you have a couple guys from New York City, it's big. You know, Madison Square Garden's there. That's where they're from. A lot of people are excited about them returning, and sometimes they can get off the map. And really, their intent isn't bad. It's just they want to play so well that it works against them. And you hear all the time that you want to have that quiet confidence, that relaxed concentration where the game feels the same. It's not too big, and so that's going to be a part of our success.
Do the guys, like, for example, you have a short turnaround this? I mean, do they get to go out with their families like after the Thursday game or something? I mean, is there?
No matter what city we go in, if their family is in the city, they're always allowed to have some time there, and as long as they're back in time for curfew, and we've never had a problem.
Coach, how close is Parker Jackson Cartwright to being at full health?
Well, this week came at a great time for him. As of Wednesday, he's now 7 weeks since he had his injury. And as you guys have watched him, he's been able to play and play well. Once in a while, you can kind of see him start to limp or favor his good ankle. But we've given him an extra day, actually an extra 2 days off in addition to what we're already doing as a team. So I think the combination of him having 7 weeks behind him playing in games and practicing, and now recently giving him some extra time, I hope that he's as close to 100% moving towards Wednesday as he's been. And I would say as long as he doesn't have a setback, sometime in the next 2 weeks, he'll return to form. But it's been a long time. I mean, you think about the games that he missed and how long this has taken. This is a tough injury for a basketball player, and Parker's handled it really well. That's why, for me, I try to really talk to him to not worry and get caught up in his shooting. He has not shot the ball well. He's a much better shooter than he showed. I believe that will come back once he starts to just feel normal again.
With USC and UCLA, they're both kind of fast tempo teams. How crucial will guard play be this weekend?
I mean, big guy play, guard play, starters, bench. It's all going to be important because of the quality of both teams. They have very good guards, so you can make the case this will be our guard's biggest challenge defensively. But I just mentioned, Chimezi Metu. He's not a guard, and he's one of the most improved players in our conference. He was very good last year. He's even better this year. If you score 20 points in a Pac-12 game in one half, it speaks for itself. So our big guys will have quite a challenge as well. Ditto for UCLA. If you look at Thomas Welsh, TJ Leaf, those guys are a big reason why UCLA is as good as they are. So our big guy, everyone has a challenge. A coach has a challenge. We have to be ready here this week. This is a stiff road test for everybody who goes there. And we want to have no regrets. We want to be ready to play.
With Parker having been through this before, does that make it any more likely he might start this weekend, or you still want to see him get better before you make that call if you do?
Yeah, I don't think we'll change our lineup right now. We could, moving forward. Whatever's best for our team, that's what we're going to do. But what's been good with Parker is we've given him the right minutes. You haven't seen him really struggle because we've never asked him to play 34 minutes in a game. It's been the right amount, which has allowed him to help us and maybe not put him at in a bad way. Sometimes if you start favoring your ankle, that's when other injuries occur. Not necessarily the injury that he had, but a different type. So I think we're beyond that point now, and we'll just go from there. But all 8 players are important, whether they start or not.
What do you think of UCLA's ability to sweep Utah and Colorado?
Well, the game at Utah was a great game. You know, Utah played them really tough. I thought the game could have gone either way. But UCLA is a heck of a team. If you go to Rupp Arena and win, you're one of the best. And so I think that win solidified them. And just even the Oregon game, you know, Oregon, you know, my hat's off to them. They found the way. But you know, if you replay that game, a lot of things had to happen for them to leave there with a loss. You know, Bryce Alford's not going to miss many free throws, and you know that's just one of many things that happened. But they're a really good team. They're the nation's best offensive team, statistically. So they're very difficult to guard. You know, you watch the Golden State Warriors play in the NBA, and sometimes you marvel just at the ability to make shots. And UCLA is the college version. I think they shoot 46% from 3. With as many as they shoot, that's a remarkable stat right there.
What do you tell your young guys when you want them to focus more on stopping them defensively rather than trying to outscore them and outrun them?
I talk to that's what we do every day. You know, that's not something we have to really change. You know, we value defense. We try to play really good defense. You know, we want players that are out there to be two-way players that help us not just when we have the ball, but help us when they have the ball. So that mindset is in place. You know, that's nothing we're going to have to do differently. You know, the challenge may be more immense, but how we go about it's going to be the same.
What do you think of UCLA as a defensive team? Because they're like 96th in efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, they score so easily that sometimes I think when they play with the lead, and we've done that this year, where, you know, you have a big lead, you're winning, you have great confidence that you're going to win, and sometimes you let your guard down on defense. But when they need to rise to the challenge, I think they have a team that can get big stops. You know, they have big post players. You know, they have some incredible guards.
You were quoted on a podcast today saying you were not optimistic about Trier's return. Is that how you feel today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ambivalent. You know, I don't have control of the situation. You know, so when you're dealing with a crisis or adversity, and we've had plenty here over the last 9 months, you know, you finally settle into what can you really control. And you know, for me, the purpose every day is, you know, we have to coach Raleigh, Kobe, and we have to coach all those guys. We are coaching Alonzo. Academically, he's in a great place. He does what he's supposed to. He practices hard every day. He's in great physical condition, but he's not allowed to play, and it's not my choice. And you know, it's just one of those situations that I wish was different, but it's not.
About 6 weeks ago, I asked you about how would you define this team that you have? You think you could call them tough? Has that changed at all, or is it maybe a different word to this point?
I think very coachable. Coachable is a word that I would choose right now. That could change. You may talk to me after the LA trip, and we're the furthest thing from that. It just happens in a long season. But one of the things that this team has right now is very good team chemistry. I think that there's reasons for it. I've said it as far back as a couple of months ago, and I know Kadeem Allen is not the most vocal person off the court. Or if you interview him, he's probably a man of few words. But he is the best leader that we've had here in a long time, one of the best that I've coached. You know, we've had 2 practices this weekend. They're not easy practices at 10:30 in the morning. We don't have a game until Thursday. Things are going well. You know, it's one of those deals. You walk in the gym and you just say, uh-oh, how is this going to go today? But, you know, he makes his team practice hard, and he brings it out. And then the second part is we have a group of younger players who are extremely coachable. They don't have all the answers. They listen. They do the best that they can. And then we have some that have been with us, Chance, Dusan, Parker, Kadeem, and, you know, they all have bigger roles, and they've improved. And, you know, you add that all up, that group of 8 people, they've been an easy group to deal with. They know their role. They do it. They play to win the game. And I hope that doesn't change, because if not, that's certainly a strength that everyone loves to have.
How did those 2 practices go? And since you had extra time, did you get into some things that you really want to focus on, get better at yourselves?
We just tried to have our typical practice, nothing easier, nothing harder. but just to make sure that we, after it was over with, got done what we needed to. You know, we brought groups back for some extra shooting because they had no class with no game, and then we were able to rest, you know, a guy like Parker. But we had a good weekend. We're off today, which is an extra day off, and you know, you learn, I think, as you get more experienced in this, that especially when you get into conference play, if you have a team who handles a day off the right way, there's nothing you could do in a practice that's more beneficial than just giving these guys some time, because, you know, we're at 60 practices and almost 20 games. We've been at it for a long time, and we have some guys that have played a lot of minutes. So getting them that extra day, you know, I think sometimes can keep them mentally fresh as much as anything.
Was Parker out completely then, or just non-con?
Yes, he's practiced once since, and he'll practice. He'll be back with us tomorrow and Wednesday and ready for Thursday.
DeAndre Ayton, not surprisingly, was named McDonald's All-American. What have you and your staff seen from him through the high school season so far? He's
a really good player. You know, he's not a guy that comes along often. His physical tools, you know, that in and of itself, 7 feet tall, 250, 240, the way he moves, how physical he is, but also, you know, his hands, you know, how he catches the ball, and then you watch him play, his skill level. I mean, he can shoot the ball, he can move, he can handle the ball, he's a good passer. He's very, very good player.
Did you watch that ESPN2 game, or were you out recruiting yourself?
No, and, you know, Brandon Randolph, he's also signed a national letter, and I was excited watching him play in the same game. You know, I think Brandon is a guy that we love for not only who he is now, but like what he can become. He's young, he's thin, he's getting stronger, and he played very well in that game too. So I was excited for him.
Was he? Sorry, Steve. Is he considered a fifth-year guy, because he wasn't even nominated? But he wasn't even nominated for McDonald's.
You know, Brandon's late on the scene. If you would have judged him a year or two ago, he wasn't as highly thought of as he is now. But a lot of times, those are the ones that continue to improve. Because if you think about how far he's come in the last 2 years, I think he'll stay on that same track.
Yeah, it's just a ton of guys get nominated. It seems like it's not that difficult. I was surprised.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just back to USC. How does it help psychologically knowing that USC's good too, and you don't have to worry about maybe the next game, and the concentration is Thursday because they're capable?
Yeah, I mean, we're 2-4 in the 6 times that we've gone to the Galen Center. We're 2-4 in the 6 times we've gone to Pauley Pavilion. We haven't had any more success at USC than we have at Pauley Pavilion, and if you add both of them up during my time in Arizona, this has been the most difficult trip for us. And, you know, I'm not saying that it's just because we go to LA. Both teams are good. And, you know, maybe UCLA has been historically better, but right now, especially the last 2 years, you know, USC is a tournament team. So we look at both games as being important.
I didn't know those numbers, obviously. I think they talked about it last week.
Yep. College players know when other college players are good. So, you know, they know who's on USC's roster, and our players respect them a ton, and they should.
Yeah, one final thing about Dusan. The way you've gone to him early, it seems like a lot of times you get a lot out of that. I mean, does it depend on the team? How has that worked out that he's successful early and you guys really seem to make an emphasis of it?
You know, it's smart for us to go to him right now. His efficiency is off the charts. I mean, his shooting percentage, he's really become better at taking care of the ball. If you look at turnovers, how he handles the trap. And, you know, sometimes when you throw it to him early, you start to have a feel for what they're going to do. Are they going to double team him? Are they going to leave one of our guards? Are they going to work hard to front him? Are they going to play behind? How does it feel when he catches it? You know, is the guy potentially going to foul him? So, you know, going to him early gives you a bigger picture. And so if that's why he gets the ball early, if you ask why, that's probably one of the reasons. And the other reason, it just makes sense.
I wonder what you were saying about his confidence, that was part of it too, where he gets it right away, maybe he gets that confidence going, or does that even matter?
No, he has a lot of confidence right now. I mean, we worked out over the weekend, and if you videoed him on a post-workout, you would be able to, like, show every young developing post player, this is how it looks. I mean, left hand, right hand, it doesn't matter. And like I've said time and time again, Dusan is a product of his own work ethic. No one has invested more this summer. I mean, you could drive in at 9 in the morning and look over in the sand volleyball court, and there he is in socks, you know, with Chris Rounds running in a sand pit. I mean, it's just, he boxed. He's done whatever he's needed to do to help his agility, to get his body fat right, and that's been a big part of his success. And when you look at him physically, he's just better. He's bigger. He's stronger. He moves better. So that's not an easy thing to do for a 7-footer, and I think it's nice to see him have this type of success.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.